No, he's so cute. How dare you interrupt Pokopia? Alright, legit, I've been out of loop. What have I been missing other than everything on fire with me in the middle going, this is fine? What a life. Yeah, a lot of things have been happening in my personal life, just some errands I had to run, other obligations I had to take care of, a few dental appointments here and there. It's been a blast, guys. But yeah, so I'm taking care of things left and right, just a whole bunch of things behind the scenes. There's been some interesting development happening in the world of anime. Who the hell is Katrina Leonidakis?
Who?
From what I gathered from all the articles I've seen, and there is a lot of articles against her, she is a localizer, translating Japanese manga, anime, and video games because she just loves her job. She loves translating Japanese products, but it seems that she is taking things a bit too far, going as far as to mistranslate a whole bunch of dialogue and changing context for her own personal reasons. And she's not only changing the dialogue because she can and she will, she's also bragging about it. Basically having this attitude of, tee, I know I am mistranslating just to piss you off.
What the fuck?
You know, that obnoxious level. A level that I haven't seen this high on the obnoxious level since Jamie Markey. I think at this point, Katrina is going above and beyond past what Jamie Markey could ever do. Like, Jamie Markey was level 1. This is level 10 right here. She changed the dialogue in Inukai-san's dog to certain choice words where it didn't really seem appropriate, like calling a gyaru girl a bimbo, pushing someone with the term, I'm sorry I yeeted you? Girl? You okay? I'm sorry I yeeted you. Push is fine. Why you gotta Gen Z this dialogue? But even owning up to it being like, actually, 1, I do like the show, and 2, the translation is just not for you. What does that even mean? Pretty much taking something that's not hers, not even doing her job correctly, translating it, and just being like, there, I fixed it for you, weebs, you're welcome. No one said thank you, though. There's that time she was criticizing the localization of a show called My Dear Friend Nokotan. Basically saying that, well, this is what happens when you translate word from word without the subtle nuances of a trained professional such as myself. You're gonna have your actors reading a whole bunch of dialogue without matching the lip flaps, and you know, you need someone like me to save it. Maybe they hired someone who's not you for obvious reasons that are obvious. Just saying. I mean, this is like the sheer opposites of localizing, where you have Nokotan going word by word as to what the Japanese dialogue is supposed to be, while not matching the lip flaps and pressuring the actors to speak faster in order to try to fit every word within the lip flaps, versus what Katrina does, where she is trusted to take the context and translate it close enough to match the lip flaps, but still keeping the context the same, and adding in words that just do not match the original context, and in some cases even mistranslating it because she doesn't like the original context. Cultural appropriation much? How am I wrong? Like, there is an article going over the before and after of her dialogue changes, and one is a video game. I'm not sure what it is. If I find out, I'll leave it here. The Japanese version, when this character is asked why do they cross-dress, the answer is, this is more convenient for me, it lets me keep it a secret that I'm alive. In the English translation that she was responsible for, it changed it to, let's say some binaries work for me and others don't. This lets me hide the fact that I'm even alive. What do binaries have to do with the original context? There's line A, like, this is just more convenient for me. Line B, binary reasons. I don't get it. What does that add? The only times I will ever approve of dialogue changes, where the studio is given permission to work and tweak the dialogue to not only match the lip flaps, but maybe add something like a little extra spice to, the translation. The only times I'll ever agree to that is, if they have permission, and if it adds something, if it complements the story, like Axis Power Hitalia. The Japanese did a really good job taking these world countries and personifying them into these unforgettable characters, and the American translation just added little jabs and dashes of racism. It was a good time. That was a great translation. It was so good. Like, I remember that scene with Switzerland. Man up, I'll beat you with my peace prize.
Man up or I'll beat you with my peace prize.
10 out of 10. That dialogue was gold. That was lightning in a bottle. And then there was Ghost Stories where even the Japanese company was like, look, this thing was a failure. Have at it. Just do whatever the hell you want with it. If it sells DVDs, just go for it. And the studio ran with that.
You're such brave, strong, handsome men. Have you accepted Jesus as your personal savior?
No, I'm Jewish.
This is just something we can never get away with again. Again, lightning in a bottle. And in a recent example, which is a little bit of spoilers for my next review of Penny and Stocking with Garter Belt Season 2, as cringe as what she does with Gen Z dialogue is, I also think it was used brilliantly in Penny and Stocking Season 2, where their cousins are stepping in, trying to show they're the next generation, they're newer, they're better, they're fresher. They have this sense of superiority and entitlement, and they are pretty much the most obnoxious narcissists you could ever meet in this world, which is saying a lot. So what did they do to make them even more cringy and just even more insufferable? They gave them Gen Z dialogue. Like, word for word, their entire dialogue is just Gen Z, and it's like, that was brilliant.
Bruh, this cannot be happening. I mean, like, on God, we just took the fattest L.
That's using modern language in the best way possible, because in context, when you add that to these obnoxious characters, you're making them even more insufferable. And this is no jab to, like, Gen Z, but, like, in context, it just amplifies they're younger and they feel like they know better. But yeah, back to Katrina, she also got into the awkward spotlight when another localizer got fired because of their take of Lovely Complex. Just literally their job was to translate the show. They didn't like what was in the show. Not that it's any of their business to change anything. Like, literally, if you don't like working with the material, just don't work with it. But instead of, thinking logically, maturely, and professionally, they tried changing the context of some episodes, even going as far as to change the gender identity of one of the characters instead of, being a crossplayer and all that. Oh, they're transgender. I'm sorry, what?
But why? Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that?
It is not me making any sort of statement, far from it. It's just, did you have permission from the creator to do that to one of their characters? Because lest we forget, if you feel entitled to do that to someone else's characters, what makes you think people that you don't necessarily agree with can't do that with one of your characters? Just saying, you are opening a can of worms with this argument. But back to the topic, that person was fired for not doing their job correctly, complaining about high heaven, and in comes Katrina, to which I was surprised at first because it looked like she was chastising this guy for doing such a terrible job. But no, lest we forget, this is Katrina we're talking about. She chastised him for not being as subtle as her. Now that cultural war weirdos are going to use him as an example for their lame arguments. Being so ignorant to not draw the comparisons though, like she just basically got mad because he got caught, and now the people that are like angry that localizers do this and they take someone else's work and mistranslate it for their own benefit, she's mad that now they can weaponize what he did. Girl!
Ironic.
But now she is in a heap of trouble after what she just said over at Blue Sky. Popular voice actor Benjamin Diskin had to announce that, unfortunately, he had to turn down the role, reprising one of his characters in Mega Man, due to contractual disagreements. He wanted to stay unionized. The company hiring him was like, we don't want union actors. We can offer you a contract on some things we can agree with, but we don't want you as, being represented by this union. And the union, like, from what I hear, it's basically to guarantee their pay and also to guarantee that they're not going to be copied by AI, that their voices will not be duplicated. So it's just a means to protect the actors. I'm not sure in full detail over what the disagreements were, because he's saying one thing, the company could say another thing. It's a big issue when it comes to actors and the union. And there is a major push for these companies to accept union workers, and the companies are like, we're not keen on hiring union. In comes Katrina. If you are a fan and want to do something to pressure companies into paying for union actors and good translation, bully them. Hold on. I'm gonna need my bullshit glasses for this one. I'm a Megan A now. Let me just read this again. If you are a fan and want to do something to pressure companies into paying for union actors and good translations, bully them. Send emails shaming them. Comment how you will never buy their game again. Call their customer support line. The louder you are, the faster companies will change. Girl! I'm speechless. I'm just so speechless by this whole situation. Like, why? Why?
Why?
Let me just take a page out of, myself growing up, where Bible thumpers, people that were pro-censorship because somebody please take out the children, were very anti-video games, anti-anime. They wanted to censor it. They just wanted entertainment to be more family-friendly and appropriate for all children. Not even understanding the context of the art. All they're seeing is the fan service and the yaoi gay boy love stuff, and they're thinking it's Satan's work and they need to save our souls. Good times. We fought for it because it's freedom of speech, it's expression, it is art, and it's literally, speak with your wallets. You literally do not have to read it or buy it if you do not like it. Like, whatever works for you and your family, rock with that. Just leave me alone, because this is my choice. And that's something we fought hard for back in my day. And now it feels like the tables have turned, where now people that are usually fond of those things that we fought for are now pro-censorship themselves. Because anything they see as offensive and just not really PC, not up to modern standards, they have to correct those things. The dialogue, the characters, and they think they're like, oh, Japan just doesn't understand. We need to step in and educate them. You could have, hear me out, you could have this. Here's an idea. You could do what Disney and Warner Brothers do, where they have products that are not necessarily PC to modern standards, but instead of censoring them, they put a disclaimer at the front saying, hey, the following doesn't necessarily reflect our beliefs. It has this is just a product of history, this is something to reflect and learn from, rather than to offend anyone. Problem solved.
My goodness, what an idea. Why didn't I think of that?
There you go. Katrina, that is literally all you have to do. Just translate and do your job. If you have to change the dialogue somewhat to, match the lip flaps or fit into a speech bubble, fine, do that. But under no circumstances should you take someone else's art, get offended by the context of their dialogue, and change it. Seriously, what did you get out of calling the Gyato girl a bimbo? Isn't that supposed to be offensive, of just shaming women for their appearances? Just saying. But advocating for bullying. Yeah, the companies are really gonna be liking that. You sending your army to say, like, if you're not gonna accept, professional localizers such as myself and contracted voice actors under a union, we're gonna harass you and bully you until you do, because we're better than you. That's literally all I'm hearing from this. Like, literally, this is not yours to correct. This is not something that you created. You're just translating it. That's your job. That's the one job you wanted. And you're ruining it for anime fans. The whole thing about the localizer for that Deer anime, just translated word from word and not really being subtle or nuanced with the dialogue, with the case of the lip flaps and whatnot, that is still closer to what the companies want because they are translating accurately. But now it's gonna get to a point where if localizers such as Katrina keep acting this entitled to speak for unions, to speak for their terms and conditions when it comes to localizations to the point where they have free reign over how a show is translated, I mean, do you want AI subtitles? Because this is how you're gonna get AI subtitles. I don't know about dubs because the technology is not there yet, and I hope it will never be there at all. But quite frankly, like when I posted this on X being like, do you want AI dubs and translations? Because this is how you get AI dubs and translations. And a good chunk of the comments are like, yeah? Can you blame them? Because imagine you make a show, you pour your heart and soul into these characters and the dialogue and just the overall world building and storytelling, only for someone to be like, that's cute, but I'm gonna switch it to this because it fits in with our standards. How would you feel about that? I mean, they tried doing that with Steven Universe in other countries, like with Ruby and Sapphire in Russia. They were trying to say that, oh, Ruby is the masculine one, we give her a mustache, because now she's a man. So Rebecca Sugar makes the wedding scene with Ruby in the dress just to be like, hey, screw you. So if it's not okay for that, why is what Katrina is doing is okay? This is an open discussion. I want to know your thoughts about this. It went as far as to the point where she got suspended from Blue Sky because she was advocating for harassment and bullying, which rightfully so. I don't know if she's going to be back or not, but I just want companies that hire her to be careful because there are piles of articles warning people if Katrina Leonidakis is hired to translate any other products, we're not gonna buy it. Oh, she's gonna be the main translator for Crunchyroll? Consider my subscription canceled. Oh, now she's going to Sentai High Dive? Consider my subscription canceled. There's even forums on Steam warning people, hey, Katrina Leonidakis translated this, don't buy it. It's just people sitting in masses, like, vote with your wallet. If Katrina Leonidakis has anything to do with it, don't buy it. So you would think that would be a huge warning flag for all these companies that sell translated products to be like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't hire this one. Just saying. But again, let's discuss this amicably in the comments down below. What do you think of Katrina and her bragging about mistranslating anime just to piss off the fan bases? Leave your answers in the comments down below. Coming up next, I believe April Fool's is around the corner. I got a plan for that video, stick around for that. And also the Panty is Talking with Garter Belt review will be on the way, so stick around for that. Thank you all so much for watching. More awesome videos will be on the way, so stay tuned to Anime America. Bye!